business? Go to new business?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 18-9-3, a resolution allowing the fiscal officer to provide office mutual aid.
A second.
Miller,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Doors good to stay.
No.
I told her that.
I don't think she wants to.
She may have family with me, she likes to stay.
Oh, no, I ain't giving her up, sorry. Jill stuck with me, so.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 18-6-4, a resolution to adopt Anthem Health Plan Bronze Blue Access 6550E /0% /6560, right? The new one,
yes.
with HSA and with Ohio Insured Services.
I second
Miller,
Yes.
Newman,
it. Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely, Zimmerman,
Yes.
Okay, open for any other new business.
Did we want to do anything about the fence around the new walkout? That's, you didn't think about checking in prices or anything like it, there, did you, Fred?
More than I know, but
He didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you. I'm good.
Did you think about checking in the price, Fred? Like, was brought up last week about a fence maybe around a new walk path?
I actually, I talked to people on Wayne Street, and
You got some of them willing to put it up?
Jared and Danielle are the only ones that want fence. Nobody else wants fence.
Ann's just not worried about it?
No,
Business?
nobody else wants fence.
You reach out and touch your fence.
Yeah, nobody else wants fence.
All I can say is, and the reason I laughed facetiously was talking to our engineer about potentially, because, you know, we was talking about whether or not we could look for grants and those type of things, and maybe they'd come along. But he talked, just from his experience, the amount of money it would cost to fence that in, to do any type of fence like that was presented.
And you'd have to do the whole thing,
Would
you
just
couldn't just do
be-
part of it.
Yeah.
Astronomical. And so.
I figured that, okay.
And my
More than
thought
the walk
was,
path cost.
Yeah,
to
so
get
I mean, it
one.
was really one of those like, you know, so.
So another
you know,
stipulation is if we would do something like that, according to our engineer, the specifications for a fence along the walk path would have to be 5 feet away from the walk path, which would encroach into
Oh,
property
yeah,
owners.
that'd be a problem with it.
Because if you put the fence right up against the walk path, then you impede people's
Somebody-
traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
So in order to, and he brought, I appreciate you saying that, because I did tell him he said that, but he said ideally it would have to be 5 feet away from the walk
Okay.
path.
It was more yard.
So all those people would have to give up that part of their yard to acquire that. So if they're already saying they don't want it, they're not gonna wanna give up 5 feet.
It'd be in the middle of the Hensley swimming pool.
I'm just saying, but they, you know, short of, and I don't even know what type of fence, but you know, when they was talking privacy fence, 6 or 8 foot tall, plastic or even chain link, it's still, you're talking a lot of dollars. A lot of dollars. So it'd be one of those things where you would probably consider quadrants and what would be the most beneficial at the time. Really, we haven't had, I haven't had anybody other than that section even indicate a fence. Even when we put the walk path on Southwest Minster Street, we hadn't had any issues with people desiring that, so, you know, but we have 1.2, is it Nate, miles?
1.02 miles.
Yeah. That's a lot of fence.
Okay, that'd be on, the whole thing's 1.02, okay. we could walk the walk back and hop in Hensley's pool, take a dip, cool off, and then get back and walk.
When that was brought up at the meeting last month, I was thinking that if somebody is worried about their property that bad, then they need to put up their own fence. Because not everybody's gonna want a fence.
That'd be a good case.
Now,
Well,
in zoning,
I
it'd be
understand
nice.
that.
Yeah.
It's no different than what I did down here.
Yeah.
I didn't have to fence it in, I didn't want anybody else to fence it in.
Yeah.
But I did for privacy for my dog, my kids, my grandkids. So I made that choice.
Yeah.
If I was worried about somebody bothering my kids or my family, or getting bit by my dog or whatever,
Well,
then I'd have to deal with it
one thing I will
myself.
say is, as dealing with the zoning, and as the chief has mentioned about in other areas, when we look at the zoning, fencing needs to be included. Most all communities have a fencing policy, we do not. Now, when I talk to somebody about putting up a fence, I encourage all to stay, the standard of most any community is 2 feet on your own property, because that allows you to maintain it. If you put something on the
And have
property
your
line,
property surveyed before you put it.
if you put it on the property line, the attorneys can speak to this, but if you put it on the property line, it becomes mutual.
Right,
And so that party could paint it or do whatever they wanted to it.
right.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, stay 2 feet on your own if you want to maintain that ownership. But we should have a standard. We don't have a standard. There's nothing in our zoning about fences.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, we-
So we've talked about, when we look at doing something, that's one of the many topics that we need to address.
Right.
Wow.
Fred, I got a suggestion along with zoning changes or updates. I mean, I can talk to Mark and we can get some specimens put together of what different places have. But you all maybe ought to put together a list of things that you want to make sure are included, because there may be something specific that you have a concern about that other places
Well, we've
haven't or
already
don't
talked
care.
about 4 or 5 different issues with zoning
Right.
this evening already.
Well, Mayor, based on what the attorney's saying, could you convene a committee, if we don't have a committee that would cover that, put together that we can participate, the chief, myself, where we can sit down and
we
come up
have
with
We have a zoning board, but the zoning
But-
board is not completely aware of all the issues. We would still need somebody to help compile a list.
Well, the only thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the zoning board is a preliminary sounding board to consider a zoning issue, but it comes back to council to be ratified.
Right. They make
And so I would
recommendations.
recommend that the council committee, whether if there is one that identifies it or create one, to start there. Because they're gonna be more inclined from these type of meetings of what needs to be addressed. That'd be
with
my
what Fred's
recommendation.
Right.
I think a committee of
Of this body.
three or four.
And the
folks.
chief and I,
Yeah.
and whoever you deem should set in on that for topics. Because there's a lot of things we've talked about over the years that we're dealing with,
Right.
that we can quickly put on the list.
Right, and like I say, the zoning board is not privy to all these conversations.
They're not.
To know what
Right.
the problems are.
They just deal with what's on paper in front of them, and they
Exactly.
make a recommendation to this body.
Right.
So I don't know if you have a committee that could oversee that, you could just pick one of them, or if you need to compile one base just for this purpose.
I think it would be just for this purpose, because every other, I mean, it includes every committee practically that we have anyway, you know.
So that's your position, to create that committee. And then the chief and I, and I don't know, you.
No. I don't wanna be on any committees.
I think somebody needs to take notes.
You got a good luck.
Zoning, zoning board does take notes when we meet.
Right.
You see the respect? I'm done.
You're part-time.
I'm encouraging.
beware, next meeting, I will nominate 3 people to be on that committee, so, we'll get it rolling. Okay.
And then that would help the attorneys,
Right.
to give them a short list to work with.
About 7 committees
Okay.
What's one more?
Only way you get things done. Gotta do it.
Yep.
Any other new business? Turn it over to the solicitor.
I think we need to have a short, hopefully, executive session. Mayor, I would ask that you be in on the initial part of it.
Okay.
And Fred also.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session and discuss litigation.
Second.
Miller,
Yes?
Newland,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Knox,
Yes.
Neely. Is that a yes? Did I miss it? Yeah, sorry. Zimmerman,
Yes.